I've been on a photo trip for the last few days and I have one more shoot left. I am going to Driftwood Beach at sunrise for the third time on this trip on the fifth day. I'm leaving right after sunrise. I wanted to talk about what I learned on this trip. One of the main things that I've really thought about were expectations. And I've talked about it and discussed it, but it has really stuck with me that I created a lot of expectations for myself before going on this trip, that I would really need to create a lot of portfolio worthy work and really create a super strong body of work. Do I think I've achieved a strong body of work from this trip? Yes. Actually. But after the first couple of days, I was underwhelmed because I was expecting like so many photos that were going to be like blown away. I'm like, that's going straight into my comprehensive portfolio. When in reality, I'm satisfied now and I'm not even sure if any of the photos from this trip are going to go into the comprehensive portfolio, but they create a very solid body of work of nature photography, of beach photography, of sunrises, of sunsets, and things of that nature that I came here specifically to get. I think my strongest project, I created a zine called Recycled Gazes. And there's a lot of like street photography-ish type of work. I'd say more documentary, and there's a lot of people involved. And a lot of that work speaks so much to me because you can see the emotions and it's in a location that I'm from and that is very special to me. And so now I find myself in a location that doesn't have these perks. I'm not from Jekyll Island and I'm not surrounded by people who I can take these documentary style photos of. So the photos themselves are nature photos. Oftentimes, sometimes there are some people around and I take a photo of them, but all of this is nature. I think my expectations at the start should have been a little bit different and should have been a little bit more, socially aware, let's say, of what I was getting into. And it's something that I wanted. Like I came here last year and I really loved the nature photos I got. So I should have known what I was into. But so I think the message there for me is next time I take a trip, lower the expectations on myself, just go with the flow. I just want to create a good number of good photos. And if I can focus on that starting from the get-go, I'll see that I'll probably achieve that if I'm going out and taking photos. The next thing is I've learned that I need to pace myself. The first couple of days I was go. And I was doing sunset shoots and I was doing sunrise shoots and the days are getting longer and longer. It's still spring, so it's not like the longest days of the year, but we're getting there. I would shoot for 4 or 5 hours from sunrise, come back, eat some lunch, edit for like 2-3 hours, go back, shoot for 4 hours again, come back, eat, and then edit until like midnight and then wake up again like 5 hours later. And I didn't really sleep the whole 5 hours. And it's a whole thing. I'm kind of running on fumes at the end here. Not in a way that I'm tired of photography, but in a way that it took a physical toll on my body. One of the days I went on a more adventurous expedition and I carried around an 18-pound backpack with me, and that caused some fatigue, and there was a lot of wind the first few days, so that was a little bit more intense. Not that I'm like as sore, I'm tired. I think I just feel a little exhausted from the lack of sleep and a little bit of the exertion, at least on my upper body. My legs are fine. I play soccer. I mean, that's fine. And we're talking like over 20,000 steps a day, which I really don't even think that's a lot. Anyway, I learned that I need to pace myself. Maybe on my time off, I don't need to edit right away and I can just kind of rest, or just take shorter shoot windows and also take a little bit of breaks. So there's got to be a little bit of a give and a take there for me to be able to go into the last day feeling as energized as I did on the first day. The third thing, I think, in terms of the photography, is just being consistent and trying over and over again. So I got here and it was bad weather, windy, gray, just grim. It was depressing and it's not what I wanted, not what I expected, but I kept going back, and actually day by day I went to the same places, took similar photos, not the same photos, similar photos, the same things, and the weather was getting better day by day, sometimes multiple times in the same day, getting better and different, harsh sunlight, early sunlight, late sunlight, whatever it was. And I think that repetition, the last couple of days of photography have been the best. And hopefully this last sunrise shoot is also in the same vein. Practice, I think, doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. And once something is permanent, I think that's when you can start building off of it. I think you can be lucky and get different things, but if you want a certain skill set to improve, you need to like establish it in levels a little bit. I've noticed that through my entire career as a photographer, that once I kind of figure out one thing and really figure it out, that's just kind of a standard. It's there, and then I can kind of build off of that. I'm not saying when you go on a trip or when I go on the next trip, should I go to the same place over and over again? No, like obviously like there's places where that's convenient or not convenient, or an option or not an option, or the best option or whatever. But I think in general, as a practice, I really saw the fruits of that labor. That is something I talk about a lot on my channel, and something that I really believe in. Going to the same places, trying over and over again, really helps build a skill set. And I saw that happen over the course of 5 days here on this trip. And I also have seen that over the course of the last 3 or 4 years that I've been a photographer. There's a lot of foreground objects at Driftwood Beach, being other driftwood trees, if your subject is obviously a driftwood tree, which I mean, it should be at Driftwood Beach anyway. And so finding the shapes in these images, the different curves, the different spikes that come out. This is an image where I am using a driftwood tree at the bottom to really point your eyes and attention at the tree in the water sticking out. I really love this tree, how it's like just there at the edge of the water. It doesn't seem to have like a start and a finish. It just seems like a line, like it doesn't feel like a tree. It's just sat there in the water. This is a very beautiful image that highlights the soft colors of orange and blue that I saw in this sunrise. I mean, I really learned to be patient and how vibrant these images are going to come out. I desaturated this image some, but it was just so orange, and upping that shutter speed, lowering my aperture to get as much as I can in focus and capturing the feeling and the colors of this place. Trying to frame this entire tree within the image on a 50mm is a little hard, whilst also getting the sun in a good position with good lighting. This is an image I'm very happy with. I like that the tree is so dark. It really sticks out behind what is such a beautiful sunrise. Could also be sunset. I mean, at the end of the day, people aren't really going to know. It doesn't matter. But you go out there and you take these images and you find the color, you find how to get everything in focus and also visible. And this is a great example of that for me. I've also learned that I need to allow myself a little bit more leeway with changing my lenses. I think when I started changing lens between my 50mm and 23mm on this trip, I was getting a lot more variety and I was feeling more satisfied with what I was getting overall. I think there are some caveats to that. Gear-wise, I need to figure out how to keep my lenses clean and safe and in different types of weather, and just figure out how I want to manage changing lenses when I want to do it, and a few different things of that nature. I came pretty minimally, and I think I did a good job in bringing such little amount of gear, and that was also very helpful. So that's another lesson learned. I think I've gained some confidence on this trip. I think I've learned a little less about just photography, more about how I am as a photographer on a trip of this nature. It was my first one. Going into the next trip, if there is one, I'll be a little bit more prepared, and that preparation will hopefully help me excel. Hopefully have a more positive mindset, at that first third kind of way through it, thinking, okay, like I'm at work, I have time, and I'm making this happen. This has been very positive and informative. So I want to do another one of these. I enjoyed it very much. 5 days might be a little too much. Maybe I'll do 4. We'll see. It all depends on availability and weather and all that sort of stuff. So at this point, I changed to a 23mm lens, and the sun is a little bit higher, so everything's a lot brighter. We have the sun on the right-hand side, and you can see how it's getting a little bit dimmer and dimmer across the frame. That I think is a cool way to lead the eye in a way towards our subject, which really is this woman on a paddleboard. We have a nice, slightly out of focus tree on the right-hand side of the frame, and then a tree in the center as well. So we're really occupying the frame, and that is something that is easy to do at Driftwood Beach because there's just so many driftwood trees everywhere. But then it's also hard to manage that because you want to get it into a way that is not distracting and your subject is still clear. Now, my subject could be the tree in the middle. It could be the paddleboarder. I choose the paddleboarder, but somebody else could look at the image and think something else. That is totally fine. So I think this is just a practice in over and over again, seeing how to frame the trees in order to get them in a way that you can actually see your subjects in a good way, whilst also capturing the light and leading the eye. If you haven't followed along with this trip and all the videos that have come out about this trip, make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out videos I made about Jekyll Island and all sorts of photography content that is coming out on my channel all the time. If you enjoyed it and if anything that I said here was informative or helpful to one of your photography trips, that is the goal here as well. But without further ado, I've been Tony King. This has been the end of my photography trip. Hopefully you followed along. I'll see you in the next video and on the next trip. Peace.